Welcome to another late night video in my studio that I couldn't be bothered to clean for a YouTube video because it's 9:30 at night and I've had a very long day. But I wanted to follow up on a video I did about these creative life markers that I picked up at Five Below. Now they had, I think it was 6 markers per pack for $5, which, like, what was that, like 88 cents a marker? Very cheap. And I loved them. I thought they were fantastic, and I definitely didn't have any problems recommending them to any of you guys. And since it's Inktober, I've been doing a lot of inking. Like, so many ink drawings every day. And I've been using some of this Bombay Black India ink, and it's been great. And I've been using a quill. It's been a new experience for me, drawing with a quill. So, been doing it that way. But Copics are still on the mind, and I got a comment from one of you guys that Five Below was making another series of markers, not from Creative Gallery. It was, well, they're not even, like, really, they're not branded. It just says dual tip marker. That's it, 12 alcohol ink markers for $5. And that's gotta be like, what, 47 cents per marker? That's like, that's super cheap. It's like they doubled the amount they give you. And I have not tried them yet, but we just picked up a pack today, and I just need to find out how good they are. So the colors they give are kind of like, I don't know what like style color palette they are. They're a little bit darker, I guess more autumn tones, if you will, which makes sense. I mean, maybe they're gonna be seasonal about it, but I kind of wish there was consistency, because if I love these, I'd like to be able to buy them again, which doesn't seem like the most optimistic thing. Like, I don't know if they're gonna do that. But they're dual tip. They're made to look a little bit more like the Prismacolor alcohol ink markers. Not quite made to look like Copics. And I mean, they're all right. It looks like they put a little more effort into, you know, designing them. These are just gray markers. These have labels on them, although they're not particularly great. I guess it's time to uncap it and see where it goes. Let's start with the black one. So here we have a normal bullet tip. It's just called bullet tip, I think, right? And then on this side is a chisel tip. A little disappointed. I almost only use brushes on alcohol-based markers, because the brushes are just better, but it could be more expensive to produce. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is, but this is the way it is. Oh, I also have to make sure you guys can see it. Also not accurate at all. This is like a beige tan, and this looks kind of like a cranberry red. Not at all the color it's labeled. But they do name them at least. Whereas these, I mean, did they have anything? No label at all, nothing. Just go by sight. These at least have a name, like 155 reddish brass. I don't know why they would go through the trouble of naming them if they didn't plan on making more of them. This side almost seems darker. All right, let's quickly switch and see if they'll blend. Okay, this one is starting to blend. The marker should be able to blend with black though. The fact that it doesn't, that's not very good. I'm not thrilled about the blending. I'm gonna have to try a different paper and see if that one has better success. Let me swap out paper. But I've always liked using alcohol-based inks with watercolor paper, so let's see how this one does. Okay, and we'll switch down. Oh, this is supposed to be a switch down, but they look exactly the same. They're like exactly the same. Warm gray, also warm gray. But this is supposed to be one step higher. I don't know why they have two that are like so identical. I mean, it blended, but it definitely didn't blend as well as these guys. Let's put them together. Well, I'll use chisel tip this time to be fair. Definitely seem to be of a higher quality. This one has a larger bleed, and these blended better. And then these, they just look muddier, if that makes sense. I mean, I'll still take it. It's better than nothing. Let's see if we can, what it's like to actually do some art with it. Watch my Instagram feed and you'll see that I have picked the theme of YouTubers that I follow for all the drawings for Inktober this month. And I've been going through different people I subscribe to on YouTube and doing portraits of them. And I've got my sketch down already for Josh from Mythical Kitchen. It was, the prompt for today was fancy, so I figured Josh because of the fancy fast food. So let's get going on doing his sketch. There we have it. We have my finished, complete work right here. It's Josh from Mythical Kitchen. Again, the prompt was fancy, so Josh from fancy fast food. It was a stretch. It was a stretch, but yes, let's talk about these markers. Not bad. Not bad. I think in the end the ink is decent. They definitely don't blend as nicely as these, but they do blend well. I think if you get used to it, you can still make some pretty decent stuff with it, especially with how, I don't know if it's due to the cheapness of it, but the longer you hold on with the chisel tip, you can make a nice flat area that's very even, and then it blends in together as it's still wet. And then you can use that to make sort of subtle gradients when you're trying to convey depth and texture and shading. Shading's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, you can do some decent stuff with this, especially for the price. For $5 getting 12 markers, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Get them, practice with them. A lot of the same techniques you use for alcohol-based inks are still used in these. I mean, it still works the same way. So it's a good way to practice without using expensive Copics and practicing with those when they run out and you spent tons of money. So yeah, I mean, same principle applies to these. These were a great buy, and these are a great buy. Totally get them. The quality of the markers, though, is kind of obvious. I mean, these just kind of pull out easily. They start twisting sometimes when you apply just enough pressure while you're drawing, and then it can ruin it because if it twists while you're making a very deliberate stroke, it can ruin what you're doing. So yeah, good for practice. Final results may vary, but yeah, not bad. Again, you can't argue with that price. So run over to Five Below and give them a shot. I mean, they're just called dual tip markers. They literally did no branding on these, so you'll find them, I'm sure. All right, the sleepy pill is kicking in, so it's time for me to get out of here.